Linda Martin is one of the most iconic winners of the Eurovision Song Contest. Before her win in 1992, she'd been working in show business for over 20 years. Born and raised in Belfast, she joined her first band in the early 70s.
And the rain beats on my roof, and it does not ask for proof.
The band that I actually joined was called Chips, and it came out of, it was like a chip off the old block. I was a teenager, actually, still at school, and my poor father, God rest him, was having strokes about the whole thing, you know. He wasn't a happy camper at that time.
People sometimes change.
I sang on a Saturday afternoon, you know, and I did a few weddings and a few funerals and things like that, and then it just slowly progressed.
You were working with the group when you were at school. Lots of little girls at school would love to do just that. What would you advise them to do?
Well, my advice would be to stick to the schoolwork, get somewhere, and then if you want to sing, go ahead and do it.
We actually moved to Dublin mid-70s, and there was a number of reasons for that. We'd sort of outgrown Belfast a little bit, and we're told at that time that the real hub of the music scene was to be had in Dublin. So we heard that a young guy called Louis Walsh was looking for a band, and we thought, okay, we'll go and meet him, which we did. In those days, you could work 6 days a week, but in summertime there was a festival in every townland around Ireland. You think about now, if you go to a festival, there's portable toilets of varying degrees. We were lucky if we had the fertiliser bag slashed open and hung over a bit of what we say, like a bit of fence, and then behind that there'd be an oil drum, an empty oil drum or something, you know. It was so basic, but such fun. I mean, I do remember great times, awful times as well, I have to say. I'm not trying to romanticise the whole thing, but great times as well.
Let's have a welcome for Chips.
The band began to make regular TV appearances in the early 80s.
The Late Late Show was the centre. It was the hub. It was the only place you wanted to appear. Any other show didn't really matter, but we just knew that if we got a spot in the Late Late Show, you were literally stars overnight.
We're gonna move it, hide it. We're gonna slip and slide it in the automobile.
And so we all aspired to be with Gabo on the Late Late.
Dance with me all through the world. Don't be afraid.
David's song was a huge hit, actually. We appeared in the Late Late. That song was a monster, an absolute monster.
To search the way, to find the star. Who'll come with us? Don't be
The producer of David's song, Tony Hatch, was a well-known figure on British television as the straight-talking judge on the talent show New Faces.
I find that his visual image doesn't match the voice or the song that he's putting out.
You see, Tony Hatch at that stage was literally Simon Cowell, because they used to call him Tony Hatchet.
I can't work it out, really. I just think it's very, very square now. From the Lookalikes, a great band, we go to our resident 3 boys and 2 girls who may not look alike, but certainly sound alike. Chips.
Tony Hatch moved to Ireland in 1978 with his wife, the singer Jackie Trent. He hired Chips as the house band on their 1980 RTE series, It's a Musical World.
The Italians say a cappella or patatas fritas. We say chips.
There was a fanfare blowing to the sun that was floating on the breeze.
I know what that was. It was after the gold rush. Concept, I think there was a bit of dry ice blown up around us or something.
It was lying in a burnt-up basement with the full...
We had self-belief at that time, so as far as we were concerned, well, we wanted to sing it. I don't want to think too much about it.
From the very early days of her career, Linda had Eurovision ambitions.
You see, for me, Eurovision meant a lot. And I loved it. I remember looking at Dana and thinking, oh, I would love to win that.
And now Donna receiving some flowers.
Ireland was very, very secluded at that time. There was no hopping about to the UK and suddenly appearing in the charts and everything, and it was a stepping stone, really. It was a platform.
In Studio One today, there were songs just for the asking and not a jury in sight.
Chips entered the National Song Contest several times in the late 70s. The 1982 National Song Contest was the band's fourth attempt to represent Ireland at the Eurovision.
We did a few original songs and we sang songs by other people, and I mean, looking back, I'm sure they were dreadful, you know, but we shed tears and we laughed and we enjoyed it. Oh God, I know what those clothes were like, Christ almighty. Funny thing now, think of Riverdance, Maeve's Ascot, and she did all our twirly bits. No, we thought we were the bee's knees as usual, and of course we probably ended up last, but you know, again, it doesn't matter.
I've been waiting such a long time, looking out.
A couple of years later, Linda got another chance to enter the song contest.
Johnny Logan was in Louis Walsh's office as well, so we were great buddies. And Johnny used to do his one-man show, playing the guitar and everything and writing his songs and doing. And then suddenly he's the big star. He wins Eurovision, and jeez, it was incredible, absolutely incredible. So he said to me, I'm going to write you a song. And he did. He phoned me. He says, I've got this song called Terminal 3. At that time, I'd actually ditched the band, more or less. So whenever Terminal 3 came up in '84, there was no question that it was going to be a group song. It was very definitely going to be solo.
In 1984, the country was in the grip of a ferocious debate over a controversial proposed referendum.
Talked about the subject of divorce.
Linda was set to preview Terminal 3 on the Late Late during a 2-hour divorce battle.
Preaching to priests about how to handle marriage breakdown.
Well, let's see what the Holy Father said.
I'm afraid that people like Alice Glenn have a very poor opinion of the Irish people.
Yes, hard audience isn't the word for it.
What man would want to take on and remarry a woman with 7 children?
And I might.
When you think back, how ridiculous was that? You've got this serious debate going on about divorce. Oh my God, the place is up in arms about it.
Just let me get the next musical item in, and then we'll come to you.
And then Gabo says, and here we have this year's Eurovision entry. And this is the preview, right? Everybody was doing a little slot week by week. And it didn't matter what the hell was going on in the studio, you still segued into the Eurovision entries.
And here to sing it is Linda Martin.
Long distance USA, last night I heard him say, he's been away too long now, he's coming home beyond the morning plane. If I still feel the same, I should be waiting, cause he'd be all alone. I made arrivals by the time he had said, I searched the information board and it read, Terminal 3, flights on time.
The movements, now funny enough, and they were, oh God bless us when I think about them, but yes. They were done by Vincent O'Neill, a wonderful actor who trained with Marcel Marceau, but he was doing all of these mime actions, you see, and I was supposed to be doing what Marcel Marceau would have been doing, you know, Fly to Me and everything, and I'm sure it's utter rubbish, but at the same time it worked. It seemed to work anyway. I think it was sort of fly to me on the wings. Oh, I can't even think of it now, you know, but there was lots of bending and looking incredibly serious.
Thank you. Linda Martin, and she's racing off now to Birr. If you're watching in Birr, she may be a little delayed, but there you are. Father Noonan, you did want to speak to me.
I'd like to comment on what Father Ferdl said.
On the night of the 1984 National Song Contest, Linda faced some stiff competition.
April won't be here till September.
I'm just a girl.
It's time to go.
You think I would know?
We're on a flight to the Bebop delight.
But this is for you.
And here to sing Terminal 3 by Sean Sherrard is the all-leathered and beautifully so, if I may say so, Linda Martin.
Oh, what says it? So Gabriel was... did he say he really liked the leather suit? Oh, my. All right. Oh, well, I mean, maybe Gabriel likes leather suits. I don't know.
Song C, This Is For You, 7 votes. Song E, Terminal 3, 1 vote.
And that gives us a winner, I do believe, ladies and gentlemen, by 1 point. Song E, Terminal 3.
I think when Louis ran on that night onto the stage after we won, I think he was saying, oh, thanks be to Jesus, I don't have to go through this anymore. You know, now she's won it. But the excitement was fabulous.
Yeah, when I introduced her as all leathered, I meant it. That is a leather outfit and a beautiful leather.
Thank you.
The 1984 Eurovision Song Contest was held in Luxembourg. After a slow start, the voting started to go Ireland's way.
Ireland 8 points.
Suddenly, we were leading the race.
Sweden, 12 points.
And then we're gone.
Sweden.
And you see the television crews running to you, and then you've lost, and then they're all sort of running away the other direction to get the actual winner.
We have our winner, Sweden.
We came back to huge excitement. We came back to the news team waiting for us, even though we were just in second place.
I didn't have the confidence in myself that I was going to even get second place, so it was as much a shock to me as anybody else.
After her Eurovision near miss, Linda went back on the road as a solo act.
Where the boys are, someone waits for me. A smiling face, a warm embrace, 2 arms to hold me tenderly.
If you're going to succeed in show business, you got to get out there, you got to be single-minded. Nobody else should matter. You just got to move on yourself. And it was a difficult transition because suddenly you are on your own and you've got nobody there. And you're in a dressing room on your own. And it's a completely different phase to go through, but you get used to it.
But Linda wasn't completely alone.
I've always been lucky. I've had decent people that looked after me, and in particular Louis Walsh.
I think we've handled the whole thing okay up to this. We haven't messed up anything so far.
Right through the early days without him, I'd have floundered, there's no question about that, because I remember one time being absolutely penniless with a bag, and I went to his apartment and he said, there's a spare room in there. He says, we'll sort everything out. And I moved in with him. And the two of us lived together like, oh geez, we're like the Duke and Duchess of Dartry, they used to call us. But, you know, without that lifeline, without somebody saying, there's the spare room, we'll get back on our feet, and we did.
In the late 80s, Linda made 3 further attempts to qualify again for the Eurovision final.
What's another year?
We've touched on the fact that Terminal 3 came in second, so there's the taste I had of Eurovision. Suddenly, I realised I could actually win this. It's not beyond the bounds.
She's hoping for great things this year, and in the last 12 months has been extremely busy, not only working up and down this country, but also travelling abroad and doing television specials in places like Turkey.
So, back to Johnny, back to anybody that was going to write a song for me, and we tried a couple more times. Failed miserably, to be absolutely honest with you.
Jurors, please. 7 points from Wendy. Sean giving 3 points.
People have said, but you entered loads of times. Well, so what? It doesn't matter. In show business, you keep on knocking the door. You knock, and eventually that door opens.
This song is called Why Me, and it's composed by a man called Sean Sherrod. You know him better, perhaps. Mr. Johnny Logan.
If I can bring you right up to 1992, and the phone rings and it's Johnny. I have a song for you. Will you come over? And away I went, up and dressed and gone over to the house, and he played right through it. And then we put it into the song contest.
Sometimes I watch you passing by my window, And sometimes I watch you passing through my dreams.
So we end up in Cork, orchestra, the full works, and suddenly it's like a runaway success. I just can't believe it, and I'm sitting there thinking, I just don't believe this, it's not going in.
10 votes, song G, Why Me?
Got a runaway winner, Why Me, composed by Sean Sherrod and sung by Linda Martin. We have a winner. Linda.
Hello, Pat.
Did you expect to do it this time?
I didn't. I have to be honest, I didn't.
Tell us, how many times have you been in this competition?
I'm not going to tell you that.
So many times you don't count anymore.
I just kept trying and trying, and it's worked.
Probably one of the best songs that I've ever written, and that was one of the best performances that I've ever seen.
Linda was on her way again to the Eurovision final, this time in Malmö in Sweden.
What you do in those 3 minutes is going to make or break. I don't think we could have done any more. We'd rehearsed it until we were blue in the face. There was nothing left to chance. So if we didn't win, the fault wasn't ours.
Why me?
Wow, what a performance. I don't know about you at home, but here in Malmö, my spine is tingling.
The voting starts, and you know that in the pubs and in the houses back home, that's when the public start watching. So you know the Irish are all watching, and they're saying, oh, you can imagine what's going on. And the first country through, I believe, that year was Spain.
Ireland, 1 point.
Not a great start
Ireland,
for us, I'm afraid.
1 point.
And I remember thinking, oh, well, here we go. That's it.
So we didn't score at all there.
France, 12 points. La France, 12
understand this scoring.
And this concludes the results
because
of
it
the
really is all
Israeli
over the
jury.
place.
Johnny was floating around the place, but I remember him saying to me, forget about the left-hand side of the board, look to the right. And it's okay. And then suddenly we started getting the 12s.
Ireland, 12 points.
Ireland,
Aha.
12 points.
Ireland, 10 points.
We are now in the lead.
Ireland, 8 points.
Don't get excited, Linda.
And suddenly away we went.
Ireland,
We have
10
won.
points.
We have won
Ireland.
the competition.
And you are thinking of people back home. Don't be fooled into thinking your thoughts are with yourself. They're not. You're thinking of your family back home. You're thinking of the friends, and you're thinking of the pubs in Ireland. And they're all saying, yay, we won. You know.
Ireland, 10
155 points is our
Equal.
grand total. Now here's Linda. Linda Martin, a lifetime's ambition fulfilled. Came so close with Terminal 3.
I was just thinking, I've done it. I've done it, you know, after all these years. I won the Eurovision Song Contest, and it's so silly because it is only a song contest, but at the same time it was what I wanted and dreamed of, and I knew I was never going to be a superstar or a millionaire from it, but it would get me out of the one-night stands in Ireland.
And Johnny Logan. Johnny winning with Shea Healy's song, then winning with his own in 1987.
Johnny Logan is just, in my book, he's magic. You know, he gave me the biggest favour that he could have done, because Johnny has family and he has other friends. He could have said, well, I'm going to give the song to my brother, or I'm going to give the song to somebody else, but he held good on a promise he made.
I know it's true, but I can't believe it. I keep on wondering why my love shines in your eyes. Why? I look at you and I ask myself, why me?
As you're the best, Linda. That's why. Linda Martin, 1992 Eurovision Song Contest winner.
And then we get on to Aer Lingus, where the pilot tells everybody that Ireland have just won, and there's another party. And then we go to the front pages of the newspapers, and we have the Eurovision win. All the chat was about Bishop Casey. And then suddenly, what takes over? A song contest. And it was brilliant.
At what point did you think you had it won?
Whenever the final vote was gone. And then With Louis and Marie-Claire O'Sucru from Sony Records, we left Ireland and came back about 6 months later. And during that 6 months, we lived out of the suitcases. We went from country to country to country. TV, corporate function, festival, you name it. It was just, it was like everything I ever dreamed of.
Would you please welcome Ireland's very own Linda Martin.
Let's welcome the Eurovision winner of 1992, Linda Martin.
I knew that there was work there regardless of what way the work went. It could be a concert, it could be a festival, it could be cabaret. It doesn't matter. I knew it was there. I say to everybody who attempts to win the Eurovision Song Contest, don't go into it unless you're going to use it. You've got to love it, you've got to embrace it, and you've got to work it. And that's exactly what I said to myself. I'm going to play the game.
After her Eurovision win, Linda continued to perform throughout the 90s, and in 2002 she became a mentor to the new generation of performers.
I actually ended up in Pop Stars, which is, I think it's 9 years ago, and it really was because of experiences that I'd had. And it was using what I'd learned and could put into practice with these kids. And Louis at that time, that was his first experience as well as being a judge.
Louis, your opinion, please.
Well, I'm from Mayo, he's from Mayo. I like him.
Eurovision isn't like singing in a pub, and you're not in a race either to get the song finished as quickly as possible from start to finish. It's a slight improvement.
We came into Eurostar and we were able to lend something else to that, and of course Louis gone on to take over the world.
Is there anything else you would have liked to have done other than what you're doing now?
I would love to work with animals. I think that's a big love of my life, you know.
Do you take these guys everywhere with you?
A lot of the time, yes.
Linda lives with her partner Ronan of 17 years and 20 dogs and 2 cats. She also volunteers at a dog sanctuary near her home in North Dublin.
We've a lovely network throughout Ireland from Donegal to Kerry, and it's people like myself who care about animals. Louis always says to me, if you want loyalty, well, you have the dogs. He says you're not going to get it from showbiz people, but I just love them. I love taking care of them. I don't care if they've got a dirty bum. I don't care about anything like that. It's just something that I can get my love to them. Do you know what's a great leveller I find in show business? Because this is plastic, right?
Last Christmas, Linda starred in the pantomime Cinderella with her fairy godsons, Jedward.
Hey Linda. What up, Linda? Getting changed, looking cool as normal. Yeah. Anyway, guys, right now we're here, okay? We're here in Linda's dressing room, okay? We're really excited. When we first found out we were going to be working with Linda Martin, we were like, why us, you know? And, like, all the kids are so happy when they see, like, Chilly Willy, her dog. Yeah. That's really, really cool. Like, Linda's, like, always there.
Yeah. Oh, yes, we do this on stage as well.
You're my new apprentices? Yes. But you look so young. Well,
for me, the Eurovision's been a blessing. I'm nearly, 17, 18 years later, I'm still working because of it.
Oh, I just don't know, Buttons. I mean, I wonder, why me? I mean, what's another year? Oh, Buttons, hold me now.
If I hadn't loved the Eurovision, I don't know what I'd be doing now, to be quite honest with you, you know, but I have my showbiz work, I can take care of animals, I have my family and friends around me, and you know something, I think I'm pretty lucky.
And when Linda Martin won, the contest came back, or should I say home to Ireland, and moved outside of the capital to Cork, with Niamh Kavanagh telling us all about her winning moment in Mill Street at 8:30 next Tuesday night.
Why me?